Welcome, welcome. I am so excited that you guys are here. This is our fourth and final session, actually, of Nourishing Mindfulness. We've had so many beautiful things that we've covered so far, and we've got a really cool session for you today as well. And this is really just exploring energy, mostly energy drinks, as you'll see. No, I'm kidding. But this is really just a way for us to, somebody is tickled and I can't tell who it is.
It's me, it's Karen.
This whole thing is about energy drink. Yes, Karen, you're fine then. You're good. So in many ways, one of the many, in basically every culture, there's a different way that we think about energy, but they're all kind of the same concept, right? So in Ayurveda yoga, we talk about prana, or vital energy, and Shelley's going to talk a little bit more about this, chi, but really it's, QI, but I ended up just kind of spelling it phonetically. But in any case, it's really referring to the amount of reserves or the amount of energy that we have to spend. And a lot of times when I talk about energy, we can kind of raise an eyebrow and be like, well, yeah, but sometimes I have energy, sometimes I don't. And that's absolutely true. But consider how versatile and fluid energy really is, right? Because we talked about the chakra system last time, and those are those energy centers in the body. And Einstein's theory of relativity really talked about how mass and energy are interchangeable. And so that's really how the mind-body system is communicating with our, within the mind and the body and the mind. And that's really how we're communicating to the rest of really our species and all the other sentient beings. And so that's really why we wanted to talk about energy and how we can harness a little bit more energy, because one of the most common things I think just that I see, that I also sometimes feel or suffer with, if you will, that, Shelley and I talked about, hey, how can we make this really useful for you? And it's this sense of energy, right? Aristotle said, the energy of the mind is the essence of life. And so energy is the essence of life, really, right? And does anybody have any questions on this? Is this hitting for you guys? Let me make sure I see you guys. Okay, good. Okay. All right, perfect. So this idea that I want to share with you isn't actually about energy drinks or coffee or matcha, even though some of those things can give you very, very temporary energy, but it's this idea of using the energy that we have wisely. So wise use of energy. And so in Ayurveda, we have this concept of Agni, or fire. Sometimes we call it digestive fire. And yes, we have to digest the food that we eat, but we also have to digest every single experience that we have as well. So that means if we're felt really angry or frustrated with something, if we didn't digest it, it's going somewhere and it's going to sap our energy. If there are thought patterns that continue to repeat, and by the way, you guys know this already, but it's said, research shows that we have somewhere between 60,000 to 80,000 thoughts a day, right? And it's also said that 90 to 95% of those thoughts that we have are all repeats from the day before. And that is kind of embarrassing for all of us with human brains. And so no wonder we can really start to get in the thought patterns that we don't even know that we're in. They can become very, very unconscious thought patterns, and they can really sap our energy. And so that's what I want to focus for the time that I have with you guys on, because that is one of the best ways to harness more energy, is like, where am I leaking my energy? Where is it going, right? And it's going somewhere. We just have to figure out where it's going. And so are we staying up till midnight, 1 a.m, either working or on our phone or on our laptops? Are we overworking, whether it is physically overworking or emotionally overworking? What are we doing, right? And even if we have the best intentions and we think we're going to head off to yoga class, we might find ourselves totally collapsed and unable to do so because we have run out of prana or energy. And that's okay too. And so I want to tell you about just some things you can take away. Maybe most of you are doing this already, but type in the chat, when you wake up in the morning, how much time do you think elapses between the time that you wake up in the morning and the time that you access something on your phone? It could be text messages, WhatsApp, it could be social media, it could be emails. I'm just curious because the data on this is really, really shocking. Carolina, tell me more about how can you tell where you're spending a lot of energy, right? And so we're going to talk about that. Our meditation is really going to be focused in on that today. And so that's a really good question, is that awareness. That's what mindfulness starts to 2 to 5 minutes, Jen. Wow. Okay. Who else? How much time elapses from the time that you open your eyes in the morning and you have looked at your phone? 30 to 60 seconds, Karen. Oh my word. Okay, I'm waiting. 1 minute. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Alicia, this is really more of an inward thing. Okay. So Shelly, some mornings it's right away, immediately. Oh my goodness. Okay. So think about, now some of you guys are younger, like Carolina, you're younger, Kieran, you're younger. So think about the times before cell phones. I was alive before cell phones. And there was no, first thing. Yeah. So it's like we're inviting like 20, 30 people that we may or may not like into our room as soon as we wake up. We are not ready for that. The human brain is 100% not equipped to deal with that. It is just not equipped. There is no way we can take in that kind of information. It needs to be at least 20 to 30 minutes. I mean, there's lots and lots of data that shows this, that this is one of the fastest ways that we can gain more energy in the day is if we put the phone really far away. We go through the morning routine and then we access the phone. And so Holly, you said, I noticed in the mornings when you don't look right away, they're nicer, you have better mornings. And Candace, it's about 30 seconds for you. And so this can be, if you take away nothing else from what I talked to you about today, if you just try this out for yourself, and just like every other change, your brain is going to want that phone. And so however way you want to handle it is up to you. But, for me, I just have it on airplane mode, and I don't take it off of airplane mode until I've finished, like all of my morning things, whether it's meditation, exercise, taking the kids somewhere, all the other things. You get to decide how long that is. And if you want to take baby steps towards that, maybe it's not until you get to work, or maybe it's, after your shower, however you want to work that out. You might try it out, or you just say it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, however that is. So Kieran, you're trying to catch your VA while she's still awake. Yep. So there's, like if it's that kind of work and you don't have a choice, then you get to choose. Maybe it's just that, and I'm not going to invite email in or, everything else. So I would say invite that silence in, because we have to have downtime. Imagine all of the things that we're taking in, our brains aren't equipped for. I mean, we have essentially the same brains as our ancestors did a few 100,000 years ago in many ways. Of course, it's changed in many ways, but the basic structure of it isn't that different. But what has changed is the amount of information that's flowing, that's streaming, that's constant, and the number of distractions that has changed dramatically and drastically in the last, couple of decades, right? And so one of the ways that we can be sapping our energy very, very quickly for the day is by asking the brain to do something it's simply not equipped for. It's just, it's just not a machine that was meant for that. And so I want you to think about inviting silence in. And then I want you to just become aware of emotions, right? Like emotions are just there. They're just talking to us. It's just energy talking to us, right? Emotion is just energy in motion. And so I've talked to so many people over the years, just not only about emotions, but just the idea that emotions are annoying is something common that I hear about. Oh, I don't have emotions is another thing. And of course, we all know that's not true. Every thought has an emotion. It could be neutral, but every thought has an emotion. And unless we're recognizing that and spending some amount of time thinking about it, metabolizing it, putting it in a category that makes sense, or taking action on it, it's going to be controlling our lives. And for most of us, we're making decisions based on subconscious emotional past experiences. And so really that's what meditation is there for, right? So meditation is really there to bring some of these things into our awareness. It's not that we need to control them or make them go away. They're not good or bad. But when we become aware is when we gain all our power. So awareness is where your power is. And then, just be careful as you're consuming data, whether it's, listening to a podcast, whether it's who are you around? Now, sometimes we're at work, or sometimes maybe we're even have family members that tend to have really difficult emotions, and we can't help it, right? But emotions they're contagious. And so you may really need to start thinking about, okay, who am I going to spend the most amount of my time with? And is it changed from before, right? And then you might also just ask yourself, am I just taking in more than I need? And of course, sometimes, of course we are. Most of the time, we probably are. And is there a way that I can change this would be the next most important question, right? And so awareness is the key, and silence is going to be your friend. So if you're driving somewhere, think about not turning on the radio. Think about not turning on the music. Just think about sitting in some silence during times or places that perhaps you don't normally invite silence in. Anybody going to try that? Maybe, yes. Okay. So I want to do just a fun, let's see here. I'm trying to find, no, forget it. I'm trying to find a way for us to, okay. I've got, my thing is acting really weird right now. Yeah, you often do, Alicia. And yes, you're going to try it out, Jen. Yeah. So I want you to just sense, you can either close your eyes or just have a soft, gaze. But I want you to just get a sense for what are some thoughts that are going through your mind right now? And what are some emotions? Not huge, not really big emotions, but what are some emotions? Because we're going to work with emotions just for the next little bit. Yeah. Kieran, no wonder you're low energy. You're constantly listening to your podcasts and your Audible books and all that. Yeah, absolutely. And so you're going to have really low energy because it's not being metabolized. So the Agni can go really, really low if we don't allow some time to metabolize. Do you guys all have an emotion you want to work with? Because we're going to figure out how to just let that go. If it's not helpful to you, if it's like something that's super helpful, that's energizing, don't let it go. Obviously, you're going to use that. Yeah. So it's frustration. Yep. For Mary Ellen. Yep. Anyone else have, you don't have to share it, but I just want to know if you can come up with something for yourself or a thought pattern that you want to let go of. So I'm going to teach you just a quick way that we're going to figure out how to let it go. Worry, absolutely. Yeah. Irritability. Yeah. Absolutely. There's worry. There's that anxiety. There's worry. It can be about kids. It can be about really a whole lot of different things, right? But kids are definitely the top of my worry list. That's when my anxiety started for sure. And sadness. Yeah, that's really important, right? That's the energy body trying to talk to us. It's talking to us through emotions. It's important for us to notice those. Disappointment. Absolutely. Yes. And most of the time, these emotions, they just want to be felt. They just want to be felt. And so choose that sticky kind of feeling for you right now. And let's do just like a 1 or 2 minute exercise. I want you to just very gently go into your body, And notice where in your body you're feeling this emotion. They all are held somewhere in the body. That's why they're called feelings. Where do you feel this the most? Where's the anxiety? Where's the worry? Where's the sadness? The belly, the heart, could even be the head, the throat. Just noticing where it is, noticing where it is. And then just gently asking, do you feel like this is something you can let go of? Because who would you be without this particular thought pattern that's associated around worry, frustration, all of those emotions? Who would you be without it? Would you have more expansion? And if that's the case, then this might be helpful to just try to let it go a little bit, just to release it. Because actually, the minute that we decide we're going to feel the emotion, generally it dissipates pretty quickly. Is anybody noticing that? Yeah. Noticing that emotion. You guys let me know if you're ready for the next step. You ready for the next step? Yeah, give me a thumbs up. Okay. All right. Everybody's got that? Okay. So we did bumblebee breath. And so this time we're going to learn lion's breath. Maybe you guys know this already. We can do this one sitting down, even though you can do it standing up. So Shelly, can you be my trial person? So tell me where you felt, the feelings, and if you're ready to gently allow it to go, if it's not helpful for you.
It was strange. I felt them in my eyes.
And what was the emotion? Was it worry? Was it sadness?
Mine was more sadness.
Yeah. And you felt like it was really holding it right in the eye area there, and you really felt it there. Yeah. So would it be helpful for you to allow it to move out?
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like sadness is bad. It's not like anger is bad. None of these things are bad, but sometimes when they're constricting, they can sap our energy. And so really we're here to think about how can we harness our own energy a little bit more without more coffee and without more energy drinks. That's really what we're here for, right? So let's try this sitting down, but if you'd like, you certainly can do this standing up as well. So I'm going to show this to you one time, and then we'll try it together. So with really all pranayams, all kind of breath work, you're always going to be breathing in through the nose. So this is also very energizing. So I want you to kind of consider just this thought, this intention to allow this, whatever it is, this tightness, this constriction to go, this worry, right? Karen, there's worry that you talked about. So it's not going to help you take constructive, wise action. And so this is a great one to be like, you know what, I'm going to let this worry go. I'm going to take the action that I need to take, right? So it's usually helpful if you have your hands out like this, like big paws, and you see that line there, we're going to have our eyes like really big. And when we exhale, we're going to stick our tongue right out, like just tongue right out. And we're going to make this sound. So don't hold yourself back. Like most of the time we're just like, no, you take up space, you roar, you do your thing, you let this go, you get your energy. Okay, I'm going to do this for you one time. I'm going to breathe in. All right, let's do this. Let's go. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Do it a couple more times. Don't stop. Yes. Stick that tongue out. Put those eyes big. Yes, 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 indeed. Yes. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yes. I want to hear from one or two of you how this felt for you and how it's feeling for you right now. just noticing what's going on with the vibrations, the sensations in your body. You just changed your physiology, right? So we talk about how, yes, the mind is telling the body what to do, but the body is also telling the mind what to do. So we're changing it up. It's not all top down, right? So Shelley, that was fun. Danielle, where's that disappointment? Is it a little bit dissipated? You might need to do this a few times. You can also couple with some journaling too.
Yeah, the disappointment is gone.
Woo, it's gone.
Yeah,
All right.
It was in my throat. And when we were doing it earlier, like my throat was so constricted. I'm like, what is happening?
Wow. Yes, that throat chakra is so important, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's oh, Mary Ellen, finally your exterior matched your interior. Oh my goodness. Yes, yes, yes. Candace, you're driving and listening. Yes, please don't do this while you're this actually will scare small children, old children, partners, and dogs. And so choose where you do this, but I do this a lot. Yeah, yeah. So please remember lion's breath. This is a beautiful way for you to harness your own energy. And it's right there. It's right there. You don't need anything. You really don't need anything, right? So this week, I want you to notice your emotions and I want you to try lion's breath when you're noticing constrictive emotions. How's it feeling for you, Shelley?
It's
You feel
amazing
better.
how different it feels. Like just, I don't have the heaviness in my eyes anymore. That was delightful.
Oh, good, good. Yeah, Terry, it's definitely very similar to Psy. And there's, I mean, there's studies, right? Because we're actually activating the vagal nerve as well. But we're also activating the diaphragm very deliberately and very intentionally. And we know that, like for Mary Ellen, she is very fierce, right? Like we are all fierce, but a lot of times we have to keep ourselves small in the world. And so when we can get big, when we take up space, when we can express ourselves in that way, then we automatically start to have more energy because we're in alignment with who we really are. Right. So that's what's really fun. So I want you to give this. Yeah, it made you feel really relieved. Beautiful, beautiful. So of course, now that you're all energized, shall we do a meditation? Let's do it. Okay. So now I'm going to have you guys really just chill out for a little bit with me, but we're also this is going to be a way to harness our energy. And so Shelley, I'm sorry, I don't want to take up too much of your time. So let's go ahead and very gently get comfortable. Get as comfortable as you'd like to get, sitting up. And go ahead and very gently close your eyes. And just putting your attention inward as you can. Just noticing the sensations, noticing how the lion's breath affected the body, the mind. And seeing if you can gently drop the shoulders away from the ears, just a tad. Can you relax the jaw? And just gently noticing the breath without the need to control it in any way. Let's just gently ask ourselves a few questions, continuing to be gentle and kind to ourselves. Where do I spend my energy the most? Do I often worry about things I cannot control? Can I find opportunities in my day to rest my senses? Can I find more balance in silence, in meditation? Allowing the questions to be answered as you move out of meditation later today. Continuing to be gentle with ourselves. Still keeping your eyes closed. Returning your awareness back to the breath. Gently following my guidance. Breathing in slowly and deeply. Begin to fill your lungs from the bottom to the top, as if you're filling a water bottle. As you breathe out, empty your lungs from the top to the bottom. Let your breath be slow and steady. Observing the movement of your abdomen and chest. With each breath in, visualize the pulsating, healing energy coming in from the crown of your head and moving down the spine, all the way to your root chakra. And with each breath out, release any tensions or holding in the body. Create no struggle around breathing. Breathing in healing energy. Breathing out any holding in the body. Allowing the body to release whatever it no longer needs. Next breath in, visualize your body renewed and revitalized with new life. Enjoying the sensation of renewed energy. And still keeping your eyes closed, gently releasing this vision Returning back to your breath, your anchor. Putting your attention at the level of your heart. Bringing in a deep sense of gratitude. Gratitude for your many blessings. Gratitude for yourself, for creating the space in your busy life. Now just gently returning your attention back to the body. Perhaps wiggling the toes. Putting your hands together in Anjali Mudra. Just prayer position at the level of your heart. Just as you're ready, you can gently open your eyes. Namaste. So now it's up to Shelley to tell us the good and the bad about Red Bull. Right, Shelley? That's what you did your thing on.
All about Red Bull. There's a new one out too, and I'm trying to remember what it is. Bonk or Rush or something. I don't know. Maybe we get a minute to talk about that one as well. But let me share my screen with you.
But that was a fun meditation.
It's beautiful.
Thank you guys for, yeah.
Okay. Does it work this time? There. Working. So we are going to do a really brief journey into the world of medicinal mushrooms. How many of you have any experience with any of these medicinal mushrooms? Do they look familiar to you? You can put it in the chat or raise your hand. Janine does. Yes, I know Janine's got some familiarity with them, and Rajmi. Jen, I can't see you on the screen. And I need to thank Jen today because I moved this weekend. I probably should just call out the elephant in the room. The bags under my eyes are real. I did not put them there just for fun. We did move this weekend and I don't have internet at my house, the new office yet. It will be installed later today. And I have a son, a 17-year-old son who has been super sick all weekend. He's usually our big, strong one that we can rely on to get the things down the stairs. And he was flat out all weekend. So up all day moving and up all night with him because he's been sick. So the things I'm going to teach you are real and they are useful and I'm using them on a daily basis myself. So there are over 14,000 varieties of funguses that we know of at this point. That's kind of amazing to think about. And there are only about 3,000 of those that are considered edible. And then there's only about 7 that most people have maybe heard of. This is the list of the 7 adaptogenic mushrooms that are most common in supplements and in medicine and in the world. So how many of you know what an adaptogen is? Let's start there first. You can unmute yourself, throw it in the chat. But what do you know? What do you know about the word adaptogen? It's kind of a funny word. Any takers? Yes, it does. It has its own intelligence. And it also has, in order for it to be classified as an adaptogen, good, it does have to help the body and the mind adapt. And Kieran, great, no idea. So in order for it to be considered an adaptogen in Western herbalism, it needs to have what we call both upward and downward energy. So it needs to be helpful in both increasing energy throughout the day, whether that's mental energy, emotional energy, but also needs to be helpful so that the body can sleep well at night and be able to handle the stress response at both ends of the spectrum. And so that's where they came up with the word adaptogen. In Chinese medicine and in Ayurvedic medicine, we actually call them tonics. We call them nourishers and tonics and those types of things. But but in Western, they're considered adaptogens. So these are considered the 7 adaptogenic mushrooms: reishi, lion's mane, chaga, shiitake. All of you hopefully are at least familiar with shiitake because you can get those at the grocery store. Maitake, cordyceps, and turkey tail. Today, because of the time, and we're only going to have a chance to talk about one, but I have an assignment for you. And if you haven't had a chance to watch the film Fantastic Fungi, that is your assignment this week. It is truly a marvelous movie. It's available on Netflix. You can stream it. You can stream it live on fantasticfungi.com. It is such a wealth of knowledge, and it's a beautiful presentation. You'll be amazed at the way that they've created this this documentary. Paul Stamets, who I'm going to tell you a little bit more about later on as I introduce you to one of his companies, is one of the main people in this film. But the things that you learn about the mushroom kingdom and how important it is for our world and for our health, I highly recommend that you take the time and enjoy it. You'll come away changed, looking at the world in a completely different way. But we're going to focus today on lion's mane. Anyone here have any of you ever tried lion's mane? I can't see all of you right now, so pop it in the chat if you can. Let me know. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you've tried it. Those of you that I can see and those that I can't, put it in the chat for me. Okay, so this is a new one for a lot of you. Lion's mane is, one of its nicknames is the brain booster, because it both supports the nervous system, and then it also has been shown to stimulate brain cell growth and nerve cells and improve nerve cell growth and regeneration. And we have some pretty great research that's in process right now around cognitive decline. And there's active research underway in Alzheimer's and dementia. There was one study that was done in 2009 where they did show some pretty spectacular results among Alzheimer's patients using lion's mane, but it hasn't been replicated to date in a larger scale study. So just know that it's one that we've seen really good results in small scales, but they're still working on it. And then we have a lot of animal studies that are showing pretty fantastic results. We also know that it fosters the production of nerve growth factor, and then it also helps with the myelin. It helps to protect and regrow the myelin sheath. So I know we've got some docs in here. Anyone here want to take a stab at what the myelin sheath does and why it's important, why it would be something that we'd want to protect? Any takers? So that myelin sheath, and I understand we just benefited from a fabulous meditation. So you're totally allowed to be chill. So that myelin sheath is a fatty membrane that, yes, encapsulates the nerves and is really important to the central nervous system. And we know that when we protect that central nervous system, that we see improvements in memory, in concentration, and we see improvements in anxiety as well. And it also has a lot of benefits in the pain region, and yes, helps with focus as well. So as you can see, this is lion's mane mushroom in the picture that has been taken and chopped and then fried. Because lion's mane, we're heading into that time of year where you're going to be able to, if you keep your eyes open, you're going to see it, because it does show up in the mushrooms shelves at health food stores or local grocery stores, and you can request it because there are a lot of mushroom growers and harvesters now that are actively trying to get more of these mushrooms on the shelves for us to enjoy. But it's a fabulous thing to add to your diet because it's really easy to cook. If you do get your hands on it and you do want to try it, you want to slice it gently. You want to slice it so it's fairly thick. You want about a 1/2 inch thickness, and then you're going to dry fry it for about 5 minutes. And once it releases its juices, that's when you can add your other preparations. If you want to add oil, if you want to add butter or herbs or other flavors or seasonings or other things with it. But it's that first 5 minutes, you really want it to dry fry and let it release all of the goodness. And then it becomes, then all of those constituents become absorbable into our body. Whereas before they're cooked, before they're prepared, it is a lot harder for us to absorb or to utilize the beneficial nutrients that are inside these mushrooms. In fact, almost all mushrooms. Yes, great question. Rajmi saying, is that how we should cook other mushrooms too? Not all mushrooms need to be dry fried first, but we do know that pretty much any mushroom that you eat, you are not going to be able to get the benefits of it unless it's cooked first. I know there's a lot of people that love raw mushrooms. I am not in that camp, but if you are, I hear you. And especially mushrooms that we're going to be talking about for medicinal benefits, you do want some preparations. Now, we're not going to touch into psychedelics today because psychedelics are different, and a lot of the psychedelics, well, a few of the psychedelics are fine to use if you come across those in a different form, but we're not going there today. We're just talking about medicinal mushrooms. So some of my favorite preparations, and you'll see these pretty commonly, is as part of a drink. So Four Sigmatic is a big brand that's made a lot of national attention around their mushroom products. They have an actual lion's mane mushroom elixir. It's fantastic. If you want to make yourself a lion's mane mushroom elixir latte, you just add some MCT oil, some nut milk, or some coconut milk, and Host Defense. This is, I don't know if you can see it. So this is one of the bottles, Paul Stamets. You'll meet him if you get to watch that fantastic fungi movie. He has been researching medicinal mushrooms here in the North American continent for pretty much his entire life. He's brilliant. He's got some amazing research around cancer, around cognitive decline, and so much more. And he has it available in combinations where if you want to be able to take something that's going to help with calmness and also going to be able to help boost your immune system, all of these mushrooms are going to be helpful with the immune system as well. But if you want to get the benefits around the cognitive benefits of lion's mane, that's a company that I highly recommend. They do a really good job with their products. They have both capsules and liquids, and they do both combination and single products. And then because lion's mane is so helpful with concentration and anxiety, and if you know, anyway, there's research now showing that at least 35% of people who suffer from ADHD also suffer from anxiety. I would dare to say that those numbers are probably much higher because we all have to deal with anxiety, right? And lion's mane does have some great benefits for both of those pieces of the puzzle, for both helping to calm anxiety through its nervous system regulation, and then it also helps with improving concentration. I think I may have skipped a slide. I apologize. There is some research I wanted to show you. But if you've got a kiddo or somebody who's really picky or can't swallow a capsule or a pill very well, or isn't going to take the powder for you, then Mary Ruth's Organics is a fantastic company. They have a liquid extract that is alcohol free, and it doesn't taste terrible. I'm never going to tell you that it tastes good, but doesn't taste terrible, and it's good. It's a good one if you want to stick it in a kiddo's drink in the morning, or just have them take it outright to help them with better concentration and some anxiety support throughout the day. I get asked all the time, what's a safe dose? The great thing about some of these mushrooms that have been eaten for thousands of years is we really don't have an upper safety limit. We know that in therapeutic realms, when we're looking at studies, that between 3 and 4 grams a day, we have no side effects. We just aren't seeing them. There are a few people that will react to it. So if you know that you have some allergies to any sort of fungi, then I would be careful and start it slowly. But it is a really small percentage of the population that is allergic to these. But we know that they're regularly eaten in much larger amounts throughout Asia. But 3 to 4 grams a day is safe. So don't feel bad if you're like, oh, I'm getting 500 milligrams of lion's mane. We're not worried about you overdosing at that point. I can't see my clock, and I don't want to keep this over. We've
1:50.
Okay, good. We still have some time. So, whoa, we are jumping around here. I apologize. I can't get back.
Shelley, the screen keeps going black for me. I don't know if that's the case for you or not. Or can you guys all see her screen?
Is it for everybody? It is jumping all over the place for me. So if you don't mind, we'll just turn off the share. Am I frozen? I'm totally frozen.
Let's see. Yes. Okay, now we can see you.
You can see me. I can't see you.
Oh dear.
How
Okay, well,
there?
we've all
here. We're good.
put on clown hats.
Please do. I can see that I'm pixelating, so I'm going to turn off my camera for just a minute. We'll see if we can reset. And pull down. It's probably just not happy with me. So I will put this in the membership site so that you'll have access to these things. And I have some recipes for you for different for different mushrooms that you can use in your culinary adventures. I'd love you to try those as well. But as far as like looking at at lion's mane or medicinal mushrooms from a spiritual point of view, lion's mane has been used for thousands of years as a support for the Shaolin monks, and the monks that also were known to be in Japan. There was a whole region that the monks would just they would dedicate their lives to just traveling these mountains and trying to reach enlightenment. And they would carry medicine. They would carry lion's mane mushroom in their pockets. They would gather them as they walked. And then when they would break their fasts and they would need some more support around concentration and focus so that they could get more out of their meditations, they would use lion's mane. And so it's a really beautiful herb to incorporate if you are struggling. If you're like, I get in and I really enjoy the meditation, and then all of a sudden my monkey brain takes over and I'm worried about the groceries and I'm worried about the kids or I'm worried about my job or anything, lion's mane is a great place to start. To add that and see if it helps give you some extra support. And then the last thing I wanted to leave you with today is just more of an understanding of the idea of chi and these vital energies. If I were able to show you my screen, you would see a picture of a candle. And I want you to visualize maybe a picture of your favorite candle, and it's glowing brightly because you've lit it, and it's filling up the room. And this is a representation of what we call the three treasures. Jing is the basic treasure. That's what we're born with. That would represent the wick of the candle. We're all born with just a certain amount of time that we get to live our lives. That when that wick is gone, then that's our time on this earth is gone. There's nothing we can do. The wick is the wick. And then we have the wax that comes with it as well. And we're born with an ideally a certain amount of wax, but we can influence how quickly we go through that wax by how hot we allow that flame to burn. And are you hearing me okay, or is it really broken up? We're doing okay? Okay, good. I can see that my face looks really scary on my screen, so we can, and I may just turn that off and see if that helps. But that wick, that wick and that wax is greatly influenced by everything in the room, right? If you've ever burned a candle, when there's a breeze in the room, you know that sometimes that flame is going to burn really, really fast because it's got so much that it's got to fight against in order to keep burning. And same with our life, just like Rajmi talked about at the beginning, if we're incorporating a lot of things, we're allowing a lot of things to come in and influence our energy, we're gonna burn through it more quickly. And we can control, or at least we can't control a lot of things, but we can control some of the things we do and protect that chi by the foods we eat and by the herbs that we incorporate, by the things that we allow into our sphere, so that we can better protect our chi and allow that flame to burn at a more steady state. Because when that flame burns at a healthy, steady state, then that third treasure, which is called the Shen, is what we really want to be focusing on, because that light that the candle light gives to the room or to the world around it is the Shen. And that's one of our most precious treasures. And if we're burning at a high speed, or we're barely burning at all because we don't have enough energy, then we're not giving out much light. And so we want to protect those things. And this is why certain herbs get considered to be chi herbs or chi tonics, because they help to protect how quickly we burn through these sources of energy, these really valuable treasures that we have, by helping us to better manage our stress response, by helping us to sleep more deeply, and therefore give us a more steady energy that then we can give out more light, more beautiful light to the world. Anyway, that was a crash course in Chinese medicine. How was that? And I apologize for the technical difficulties. Any questions for me around lion's mane, around sourcing, around dosing, anything like that? If I had you for longer, we would definitely jump into some of the other mushrooms as well, but hopefully this will give you a good head start.
This was fantastic. Thank you so much, Shelley. Well, when I first heard you do the talk, and it was all on Red Bull, and I was like, Shelley, let's switch it out. I'm kidding. It wasn't. It was this. It was gorgeous. It was perfect. But I was taking notes, and I already ordered all the stuff while I did it with her. So I'm excited. It's coming, I think, tomorrow. So I